The Tauren are more than just the Horde's gentle giants. They're survivors of a shattered world. Long before Thunderbluff, their ancestors battled old gods, survived the Sundering, and were forever changed by forces beyond their control. But their darkest secret, Blizzard erased their most powerful ability before WoW even launched. Today, we're going to uncover the truth about planes running, the brutal Yongle origins they don't teach you in-game, and why the Tauren were almost wiped from Azeroth's history. This is the story Blizzard almost forgot. So, long before they became the Tauren we know today, their ancestors walked the plains of primordial Kalimdor as Yongle. These early bovine were fierce nomads, living in harmony with the land but ever ready for battle. They worshipped the Earth Mother, not as a single deity, but as the living embodiment of nature's perfect balance between sun and soil, growth and decay. When the old gods rose to power, the Yongle stood with the wild gods, mighty beings like Malorn the White Stag, and the twin bear lords Ursok and Ursul. Together they fought against the unspeakable horrors of the Black Empire, though this alliance would not be forgotten in later ages, as they would then fight together again in the War of the Ancients. The world they knew was shattered when Queen Azshara's reckless use of the Well of Eternity's power tore Kalimdor apart. As the seas rushed in to drown entire civilizations, the Yongle found themselves scattered across the broken world. Those who remained near Mount Hyjal were forever changed by the new well's lingering energies, becoming larger, wiser, and more attuned to the natural magics of their homeland. It was here, in the shadow of Hyjal, that the first true Tauren emerged. Guided by the demigod Cenarius, they learned the ways of druidism, setting them apart from their Yongle kin who had fled east or adapted to harsher lands. This marks the beginning of a great schism that would divide the children of the Earth Mother for millennia to come. So, the Yongle, who journeyed east, eventually reached the harsh deserts of what would become Pandaria. There they grew more aggressive, worshipping fire as their primary element. The Tonka, who travelled north into the frozen wastes of Northrend, became hardy survivors in one of Azeroth's most unforgiving environments. And the Tauren, who remained in Kalimdor, developed their distinctive culture of shamanism and druidic traditions, though they would eventually split into rival tribes like the peaceful Bloodhoof and the ruthless Grim Totem. Okay, so on to a little bit of cut content. In the earliest days of World of Warcraft development, the Tauren were envisioned quite differently than what we know today. Their most famous ability was Plains Running, a unique movement speed ability that allowed Tauren characters to build up incredible speed after running in a straight line for several seconds. Imagine a massive Tauren warrior charging across the fields of Mulgore like a raging bull, and that's exactly what they had originally intended. So why was it cut? As it turns out, Plains Running created some serious balancing issues, especially in PvP. I mean, without a doubt, a Tauren warrior who could suddenly close distances at breakneck speed would prove far too powerful, and the mechanic was scrapped in favour of the more controllable war stump that we know today. Though some fans still hold out hope that Plains Running might return one day, just like it kind of did with the Worgen. An interesting extra note here is that Turtle WoW did actually add that. I won't go too much into it, but you can find some videos. It's actually really quite neat that they did manage to add that in. And the Tauren we see in game today are actually just a little bit different from their original designs. Early concepts show them as a little bit more bestial and kind of hunched over, far closer to their Warcraft 3 appearances. There are even some unused animations out there that kind of reflect that kind of shamanistic ability back in vanilla, but it really is quite interesting to see how the Tauren have evolved. And one of the most controversial additions to Tauren lore came with the introduction of Sunwalker Paladins in Cataclysm. Originally, the developers were adamant that Tauren shouldn't have paladins at all, since their culture was deeply rooted in shamanism and druidism, and not the Holy Light. But they changed it so that the Tauren get their powers, or their Holy Light powers, from the Sun God, or the Sun aspect of the Earth Mother, Anshi. And this compromise was to allow the Tauren Paladins to exist while still feeling true to their racial identity. And no discussion of Tauren history would be complete without addressing the tragic fate of Cairn Bloodhoof, the wise old chieftain's poisoning during what should have been an honourable duel with Garrosh Hellscream. It marked a turning point for his people. Where Cairn had been a voice of wisdom and restraint within the Horde, his death forced the Tauren to reconsider their place in the faction. His son Bane inherited not just his father's title, but his difficult position trying to maintain the Tauren's traditions while navigating the increasingly volatile politics of the Horde. Through events like the rebellion against Garrosh and the war against Sylvanas, Bane has struggled to keep his people's honour intact while still standing with their allies. Perhaps the most significant development in Tauren history as well came during the Legion invasion, where they were reunited with their long-lost kin, the High Mountain Tauren. Descended from the legendary hero Hyun High Mountain, I have an entire video covering that as well. Their decision to join the modern Horde marked a new chapter in Tauren history, bringing together branches of the family that have been separated for millennia. From their humble beginnings as Yongle nomads to their current place as one of the Horde's most respected races, the Tauren have walked a long and difficult path. Through the sundering that shattered their world, the schisms that divided their people, and the wars that tested their values, they've remained true to their connection with the Earth Mother and the natural world. And who knows what the future holds? Perhaps one day we'll see the return of lost traditions like plains running, or discover new chapters in the story of Azeroth's most noble bovine race. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Tauren history, please let me know in the comments. And I've sort of changed the kind of way that I lay out the scripts here, and please do let me know if you like this way as well. It's a little bit more story driven, a little bit more story focused, but if you did like it, please do like and subscribe. For next Saturday, so the coming Saturday, I'm going to be uploading the day in the life video. This one specifically is a test run with a day in the life of a Twilight cultist. I have another one as well ready to go as a day in the life of a Scarlet Monastery kind of combatant, a Scarlet Crusade combatant. So please do let me know what you think about them, and I really hope you enjoy them. Have a lovely day, and thank you so much for watching.